Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So, if you haven't already heard, Slipknot's new album, The End So Far, releases in about 5 days on September 30th. So, in light of that, we're going to check out a video called 10 Things Slipknot Don't Want You to Know by a channel called Heavy. Of course, I'm going to link the original video in the description. The main reason for me choosing this video is just to gain a little bit more educational insight on the ups and downs that the band has been through. I am aware of some of the issues that the band has had over the years, but I'm sure I'm going to learn maybe a thing or two or three from this video. You got to take into account that the music industry can be pretty cutthroat, and these guys have been in it for a long time. And you've got 9 members in the band. There's bound to be some sort of external or even internal turmoil that's going to happen. You know, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, whatever the case may be. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and check this video out and see if we can get a small glimpse into some of the issues that this band has gone through.
Slipknot is, without a doubt, one of the few household names in metal. Recognized the world over thanks to their signature masks, the band has sold over 30 million records worldwide and show absolutely no signs of slowing down. However, the band has definitely seen a good share of controversy.
Rest in peace, Joey, and rest in peace, Paul. Just taking a moment of silence for them.
During its nearly 30-year run, we've seen band members be unceremoniously fired, entire albums scrapped due to internal turmoil, and even lawsuits surrounding the band, all of which comprise a number of happenings that the Nine would surely rather you not recall. You're watching Heavy, and these are 10 things that Slipknot want you to forget. Number 10, the Stone Sour drama. As you probably already know, considering that you clicked on this video, Stone Sour is an American rock band consisting of, among other musicians, 2 of Slipknot's key members, Corey Taylor on vocals and Jim Root on guitar. Tensions flared within both bands when the news broke that Jim Root had been unceremoniously fired from Stone Sour via telephone back in 2014. Many fans wondered if Taylor and Root would continue to get along in Slipknot, or if the situation could potentially lead to Root leaving that band as well. While no reason was ever given as to why he was fired, the situation got extremely tense, with Jim Root calling Stone Sour a, quote, sinking ship that was only concerned with money.
I wonder, yeah, because I'm super curious as to why. I mean, you've got a core member of Stone Sour, which was around before Slipknot, and to fire him, there had to have been maybe some sort of business dealing or something that Jim didn't agree with, and it probably caused some sort of rift between him and Corey. I guess at this point, we can only speculate.
Eventually, frustrations would boil over in an explosive confrontation between the two, as recounted by Corey Taylor in a 2014 interview with Metal Hammer. Thankfully for all involved, this situation had no negative impact on either band, with Jim Root citing his firing as a major source of motivation to revamp his writing in Slipknot, and Stone Sour going on to release their chart-topping album with 2017's Hydrograd. Sounds like a win-win to us.
Yeah, I guess this is one of the rare situations where it actually worked out pretty good. Also, Hydrograph was a pretty dope album.
Number 9, the Lost Crowz album. Before the age of band-specific subreddits where everyone just spams their Slipknot song tier lists, there were fan sites, and Slipknot's foremost fan site was blackgoat.com. Ah yes, many a millennial middle schooler would spend countless hours on Black Goat reading about the...
Do any of y'all have any experience with this website that he's talking about, Black Goat? I don't think I heard of it. I would have definitely been of the age to have been privy to it, but I can't recall hearing about that.
Formation of the band or uncovering photos of its unmasked members. The site also featured a page detailing the urban legend of Slipknot's lost album, Crowz. This was the band's supposedly scrapped second album and became a legendary white whale in the eyes of Slipknot fans in the early 2000s. Crowz, however, never actually existed. Well, at least not in the way that fans imagined. Crowz was simply the unofficial title given to a collection of unproduced and mostly unreleased songs by Slipknot.
I'm trying to see if there's... Yeah, a few of these titles I don't remember, though. But some of these songs I do know.
These tracks were given to employees at Roadrunner Records as a reference while they were being shopped by the label. Ultimately, Crowz was born of hearsay and bad information, not unlike other internet rumors of the early 2000s. Well, good thing that's the last time Slipknot will deal with rumors of a lost album. Number 8, the Lost Look Outside Your Window album. The recording of Slipknot's fourth album, 2008's All Hope Is Gone, was rushed and disjointed, with many of the band members citing it as their least favorite Slipknot album. These fragmented recording sessions would see the formation of an unofficial subgroup within the band. A quartet consisting of vocalist Corey Taylor, guitarist Jim Root, Sid Wilson on keyboards, and percussionist Sean Clown Cran. The four would create music that, as Corey himself put it, was less Slipknot and more Radiohead. These recording sessions were truly bizarre and would see the quartet building a song around a self-made recording of a croaking frog, and even Taylor singing a track from the bottom of a well. Strange as they may be, Corey loved these tracks and really wanted to see the songs featured on the All Hope Is Gone album. However, due to turmoil within the band at the time, he was unable to find support from any other band members, and the songs were subsequently scrapped. That is until the year 2020, when Clown revealed to Kerrang! Magazine that Look Outside Your Window had, at one point, an unannounced surprised release date of Christmas 2019. The album, however, was once again delayed for undisclosed reasons. While Clown still claims that the album will be released, fans have become skeptical. To this day, only one song from the sessions has seen the light of day: Slipknot's now iconic concert closer, Till We Die. Number 7.
That was super interesting. I didn't know that. All Hope Is Gone. Yeah, I know that it definitely has mixed opinions among the populace. I don't hate the album, and they've got some great songs on there. I mean, they've got Sulfur, and I love that song.
7.
Let me know what you all think of that.
Their failed clothing line. While many bands have been able to launch highly successful clothing lines, Slipknot is not one of those bands. In 2008, Slipknot would attempt to launch their own apparel brand, known as Tattered and Torn. The first items from the clothing line went on sale in July 2008 through Hot Topic stores across North America. The brand was extremely short-lived, with only a couple of designs ever seeing the light of day. To this day, very, very little is known about Tattered and Torn, with very few official images surviving on the internet. Though Slipknot had hopes of the brand eventually expanding into a full-range lifestyle brand, interest fizzled before Tattered and Torn had a chance to take off. Number 6.
Why do you think that is? I figured that a clothing line from Slipknot would have definitely been a slam dunk. I don't understand why it never really picked up any steam. Could have just been the branding as a whole, or just maybe it was marketed poorly. Who knows?
The School Wars controversy. Metal has often been used as a scapegoat by the media, and in 2002, German media would blame Slipknot for the Erfurt school massacre that claimed the lives of 13 individuals. In April of that year, it was reported that the perpetrator, Robert Steinhauser, possessed Slipknot CDs allegedly containing a track known as School Wars. The track supposedly featured lyrics that instructed the listener to exact revenge upon their school teachers in unspeakable ways. Fans of the band obviously know that no such track exists. However, media scrutiny would eventually force Slipknot to issue an official statement, saying, "Slipknot does not have a song called School Wars. We have never written a song called School Wars, and we certainly would never encourage people to hurt others. We are a blanket of hope for our kids, not a scapegoat for attacks like this, and while we send our most sincere condolences to those affected by this, we will not take responsibility." A motive for Steinhauer's actions was never uncovered. Number 5.
Seems like at some point there were definitely two scapegoats when it comes down to situations like this. Music and video games.
Mushroomhead feud. Slipknot and Mushroomhead are two metal bands that had a lot in common. Both wore masks, both wore boiler suits, and both even had a bassist that dressed up like a pig. This rubbed Mushroomhead the wrong way. Mushroomhead's co-founder and lead vocalist, Jeffrey...
And it's sad, because I love both bands, too.
Nothing would even claim that the band was manufactured by Roadrunner Records after they failed to sign Mushroomhead in the late 90s. Mushroomhead would stoke the fires of their now infamous feud with Slipknot, a feud that would ultimately climax when Slipknot played their first ever gig in Mushroomhead's hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. People came down and threw everything but rocks at at us, remembers Corey Taylor. They hit Paul Gray in the face with a freaking padlock the size of my fist. When we got done playing, we took all of our stuff off and went into the audience. A full-on brawl would erupt between the members of Slipknot and their detractors in the audience. The uproar would ultimately culminate with the police needing to break up the brawl and making several arrests. The feud would continue over the years as a one-sided affair, with Slipknot choosing to take the more diplomatic approach of ignoring the band completely, while Mushroomhead continued throwing jabs at Slipknot in their interviews. The feud came to an end in 2010 as Mushroomhead publicly sent their condolences to Slipknot after the tragic death of bassist Paul Gray. Number 4.
I think I kind of remember seeing that clip, or at least some of it. If I recall correctly, Corey was cussing out the members of the crowd. He was like, "F you, you effing Mushroomhead fans," and you know, it was almost like a war and a battle line had been drawn. Crazy stuff.
Corey's vocal troubles. Slipknot's first 2 albums are known for their raw, unpolished, and unrelenting sound. In the same way, Corey Taylor's vocal technique on these albums was raw, unpolished, and unrelenting. His improper technique would ultimately lead to him needing to completely reinvent his scream after he lost his voice around 2005. Fans noticed that Taylor's screams on Slipknot Volume 3 and Stone Sour's Come Whatever May pale in comparison to his screams in the years prior. Taylor would eventually enlist the help of professional screaming coach Melissa Crowz to help him revive his once powerful scream. Since then, Corey's screams have returned to form, and his training has thankfully brought his voice back to tip-top shape. Thanks, Melissa. You're a real one for that. Number 3.
You know, it's crazy. Like, I'll see metal vocalists, they'll post a video of doing what they do best in their craft, and sometimes the comments are just they're just ridiculous. You'll have people talking about how that takes no talent to do that. It's just yelling. They're just screaming and there's no effort involved with it, and those people can be farther from the truth. To be able to manipulate your vocal cords in that kind of way takes years of training, and the average person probably will hurt themselves or rip something up all up in here. And in case you haven't seen it, Will Ramos and the Charismatic Voice did a collaboration video where they checked out what Will's vocal cords actually look like when he's doing his screams and his vocal fries. I also have a highlight video on my channel if you haven't checked that out as well. Very interesting stuff.
3. The Nostalgia Critic video. The Nostalgia Critic's 2019 review/parody of Pink Floyd's The Wall was, and I'm not exaggerating here, the most hated video on the internet that year. It was panned by viewers and critics alike for its poor quality, unfunny humor, and weak critiques of the film. Unfortunately for Slipknot, the video would star Corey Taylor and his son Griffin, featuring the two front and center. It cannot be emphasized enough just how much this video was despised, and it reigned as the internet's worst video up until Gal Gadot posted that one celebrity cover of John Lennon's Imagine in 2020. And speaking of bad covers, Nostalgia Critic's The Wall would end with a cringy cover of the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song, sung by none other than Corey Taylor himself. The less we say about this one, the better. Number 2, the Gray family lawsuit. The death of Slipknot's founding bassist Paul Gray in 2010 was an absolute tragedy. A tragedy made even more complex by the eventual lawsuit that the Gray family would go on to file against the man that they considered responsible, Dr. Daniel Baldi. During court proceedings, Paul Gray's widow, Brenna, would go on to testify under oath, saying that she contacted members of Slipknot, asking them to join in on her husband's intervention. She claimed they refused to help, saying, quote, "One was playing golf 2 minutes away from our house but couldn't come. Nobody else cared. Nobody was involved. They told me it was my problem." Paul died 2 days later, and ultimately Dr. Baldi was acquitted of the charges made against him. And number 1, the Chris Fehn.
Yo, that's crazy. I didn't know that. What in the world? Man. And again, rest in peace to Paul. I know that he was a big part of the glue that held the band together when they were going through their BS. He kind of, I guess for lack of a better term, kept everybody in line.
Fehn lawsuit. In 2019, former Slipknot percussionist Fehn would file a lawsuit against the band over issues surrounding pay and compensation. He was then promptly fired. Slipknot would go on to issue an official statement regarding the lawsuit, saying, quote, "We are disappointed that Chris chose to point fingers and manufacture claims rather than doing what was necessary to continue to be a part of Slipknot." And while it should be pretty obvious to anyone with a brain that suing your employer is probably the fastest way to get yourself fired, the statement that the band made of, quote, "doing what needs to be done to remain in Slipknot" sounds rather exploitative. It reads like something that the district manager of your local Dairy Queen would say to you when you get let go for refusing to illegally work unpaid overtime. The most disappointing revelation uncovered amidst the lawsuit is the fact that some of Slipknot's members aren't technically even members at all. Rather, they are considered independent contractors in the eyes of the law. Court documents revealed that Sean "Clown" Cran and Corey Taylor are the only controlling owners of the band. This lawsuit uncovered the fact that at the end of the day, Slipknot is less of a brotherhood and more of a business. And that's our lit.
Whoa. Okay, I really thought that everybody in the band was considered a member. I knew that Clown probably was the number one guy, and maybe a toss up between Clown and Corey, but I was leaning more towards Clown being like the foundation of Slipknot, as Corey he had Stone Sour. This was an interesting video. I highly recommend you check out Heavy's channel and see what other content that he has going on, because I learned a few things from this. It doesn't take away from my appreciation of what this band has accomplished musically, and I'm still going to check out their new album when it drops in a couple of days. It is important, if you are in the music industry or you're trying to get into the entertainment business, to be aware of just some of the things that can happen, especially if you're in a group where you've got egos and personalities of all different types that can be, interfering and causing issues. And it's tough. I mean, you're with the same people, through the ups and downs, and there's business decisions that have to be made. You're talking about people's lives and financial situations are getting juggled, contracts floating around. And if I's aren't dotted and T's aren't crossed correctly, you're not going to be able to please everybody. Hell, even in that case, you still probably can't please everybody. So it's a recipe for trouble, which is why a lot of bands, they struggle. They struggle to stay in the industry, or they just flat out just go independent. But in any case, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave your comments, thoughts. If you've got any insight based on what was in the video, please share it in the comments, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I try to release videos at least a couple times a week, reaction videos, especially drummer reactions. I've got song compositions, drum covers, all that kind of stuff on the channel. So I would greatly appreciate it if you're new to the channel, you stick around and check out some of the stuff that I've put out. In any case, you guys take care, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Later on.